What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Mark of Mindful Reality. I'm here for just a few updates of what's been going on. I've been following up. I've been looking at the feeds all day. Um, I've been seeing if there's been any new developments. For the most part, no. I find it funny the stark contrast between how Cameron and how Reilly are campaigning, but I guess that goes to just each of their respective personalities. In the case of Cameron, he's just a laid back person, it seems, in general. He's not going to run around and find people and, oh, I gotta have a conversation with this one, and I gotta have a conversation with that one, and I gotta have a conversation with this one. He's having conversations, but he'll sit and chill in one spot, and then when they come to him, he'll try to check their pulse or gauge where they're leaning. But I feel like there's nothing that Cameron is saying that is really flipping the conversations. Everything is kind of based on Reilly. Everything is based on what they think her threat level is, what her allegiances are. Even this decision to flip the House votes back to voting Reilly out has nothing to do with Cameron's campaigning, but rather them feeling that Cameron is a lesser threat, number one. And number two, feeling like, are we prepared to deal with Hisam's wrath if we don't do what he expects us to do? And I think that those two things are much bigger factors. Reilly, on the other hand, super anxious. She knows that. So she's talking with everybody. She's trying to get in good with everybody. The interesting thing is, she really sees Izzy and Jared as the decision makers on what she keeps calling the other side. So I think that she mainly feels like, okay, if I get Izzy and Jared, then that means that I get everyone else that comes with them. So that's kind of what she's working on right now because she already knows Matt is Matt, Jag is Jag, and Blue is Blue. Those seem to pretty much be her for sure people in her mind: Matt, Jag, and Blue. So she's really trying to work on ensuring she has Izzy, Jared, Felicia, and Sari. Now, an interesting thing that did develop that I hadn't noticed before is America. America, I caught a piece of her conversation that she was having with Mimi, and they both seemed excited about this because they were like, okay, we are just numbers on the outskirts of these alliances. They're just using us as extra votes to ensure that they get what they want. But when the numbers start dwindling down, like, hey, we are at, I think they're at 16 now, 15 now, because of Luke getting removed and then Kirsten's eviction. So now they're at 15 people. So they're starting to think like, okay, at 15, they might not be, they're not targeting us. They're not on the block, obviously. So at 14, they might not have us as a primary target. They go after Hisam. Let's say they take the shot at Hisam and they miss. Then they're going to go after whichever one's left of Reilly or Cameron. And then they're starting to think of, okay, when we're at 13, and those big targets are not on the board anymore, who's going to be the next people that they go for? So it sounded like America and Mimi were trying to gather, they want to get Corey as part of this group. And I think, I can't remember the fourth person. I think that they might have been talking about Matt. But I know for sure they said they want to talk to Corey and kind of get Corey into the group. But the premise of what they were talking about is that everybody thinks that they are floaters, and thus far they have been floaters. But It's almost the same kind of thing as what was happening with the Bye Bye Bitches, where nobody thought the Bye Bye Bitches were doing anything together, and lo and behold, that whole week while the other team was kind of campaigning and putting themselves together, the Bye Bye Bitches were doing something behind the scenes, which is no longer a secret, but it was at the time. Mimi and America are both like, they're not thinking that we're working on forming our own alliance. And this is the thing with Big Brother. You have to be at the top of something. You can be part of bigger alliances, to me, are just insurance policies. If you're in a 2-person, a 3-person, or whatever, that's cool. 5 people, even maybe 4 or 5 people. But anything bigger than that is just an insurance policy. You can't depend on that many people to keep you safe. There's always a lot of swing votes in those kind of larger groups, but you need to have like a core alliance that you are 1-2. You need to have a main alliance, and then you can have sub alliances that are bigger that just allow for more protection for you when it comes down to it. So I love the fact that they're thinking ahead like this, because Izzy can promise, oh, we're not even looking in your direction because we're trying to get out Heisem. Yeah, that's true this upcoming week. If you get Heisem out this week, who's next? Because everyone knows, okay, you're solid with Sari, you're solid with Felicia, you're solid with Jared. You've told people that it would take a lot for you to be targeting Sari. Okay, so we know that whoever Sari has, you are not really going to be targeting her or any of the people that she's solid with. People know that she's solid with Mama Fee, and people know she's solid with Jared. So it's like you're telling people that you're the bottom rung. We want you in our alliance, but we just want you as an extra piece there. So it's a great thing for them to be thinking about what happens when the big targets get off the board. It almost reminds me a little bit of like maybe a Hitman, and don't kill me for that. I know that I'm not saying they're as good as the Hitman, but like in the concept of it not seeming like they're working together when really they secretly are controlling all the moves in the house. Izzy continues to play very hard. Um, I have mixed feelings about how hard Izzy plays the game. You know, I mean, so far, Izzy has been doing a lot of things to control the narratives of what's going on in the house so far. But that's just because there's huge targets, and they don't consider Izzy the biggest target, but they consider her a big target. I'm not exactly sure what scene you're talking about because I have everything on volume off. I can't do a thing. I'm not able to watch the feeds and do this at the same time. And I thought that I could put on closed captioning, but closed captioning doesn't work for me, so I have to pick. So sadly, anytime that I am on here, it means that I'm not watching live feeds. What was the other thing? What was the other thing? Okay. Oh yeah, I made a note that it's very smart that Jared got the whole house to call his mom Mama Sari, because it was like at first I'm like, yo, how's this guy gonna continually call her ma every second? Ma this, ma that. I'm like, somebody's gonna hear that and be like, ma? They look the same, they got the same face. You know, like what's going on here? I'm just looking at the screen right now. What is that? It looks like Reilly's having a conversation with Jag, and of course, Blue is not far behind. Allow me to mute for a second because of, Facebook rules. I am going to mute for a quick second so I can hear a little bit of this. Okay, I missed whatever important part that they were talking about because Blue was talking about looking for the pasties that they gave her. Maybe maybe they're about to have some kind of competition or something. What do y'all think about Jared and Blue? Because a lot of people are saying that they don't believe that Blue feels the same way about Jared that Jared does about Blue. I think it's mutual, and I just think that people don't understand Blue's personality. I think Blue is like a hard person to understand. I'm not saying that I understand Blue. I don't know her, but I feel fairly good at reading people. Okay, I feel very good at reading people. Not fairly good. I feel like if I was in a Big Brother house, that would be my best asset. My ability to kind of read people because I like to observe. And I think that Blue is somebody who likes a guy who's really into her and really actively pursuing her. She's always going to play nonchalant. I don't think she's the one who's going to be like all over a guy like, yo, I want you, I want you. I think that the signs that you would see of her liking the guy are a lot more subtle. Like a certain part where I saw her when they were all in the room and nobody was looking for a quick second, and she like grabbed his face, or like little subtle looks that she was giving him. Um, just little things that I've noticed. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I will say a showmance. I keep saying showmance for a reason. A showmance is different than a romance. Now, some showmances turn into romances, but I'm also taking into the fact that this is like a Sims experience where you are in the same house with the same people. And I have lived in a dorm before, which is not the same as a Big Brother house. Obviously, there's differences there, but I have experienced the whole setting of being in one place with the same group, and you have a lot of conversations with them. You're not seeing outside people, and eventually, you gravitate towards somebody, and it might not even necessarily be the person that you would gravitate towards outside, but in there in there changes the game. And I've talked to people about that. I talked to Azza about it. um yeah, so don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Let me see here. What else do I got? I feel like the cast is slowing down a little bit with how aggressively that they were playing the game. They're still playing. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I want to hear what Reilly is saying to Blue. Okay, it sounds like kind of a repeat of what she's been saying to everybody else, which is that people in the house are scared of the trio of Jag, Blue, and her, Reilly. And I would be too. You know what I mean? That's the main reason. That's probably one of the main reasons why I would want to get her out. Because for all intents and purposes, Big Brother is a numbers game, right? So if she has Jag, Blue, and Matt for sure, and herself, that's four of them. And actually, I don't really know about Blue. No offense. I don't really know how Blue fares in competitions. But Reilly, Jag, and Matt are strong threats to win the competition. There is going to be 17, 16, 15, 14. There's going to be 14 people left in the house after Thursday. Alexa, what is 4 divided by 14?
4 divided by 14 is approximately 0.2857.
So close to 30% of the house is on one side. Close to 30% of the house has a chance to win the HOH and the veto competition. That's a good chunk of the house, you know, having 4 out of 14 people. I know it's not as much as the might not quite be as much as the other group, but it's a decent amount of people. And no matter how much Reilly says, "Oh, my primary goal is to take out Heisem for you guys. I'm gonna take out Heisem for you guys." There's too many random possibilities. Hi, Miss Snappy Kid. Reilly is manipulative. I agree. There's too many random possibilities. Like, what if Reilly doesn't win? Like, we're acting like it's some foregone conclusion that Reilly is gonna win, so she could actually nominate Heisem. Is having her vote for Heisem to go home important enough to keep her there despite knowing that she has all those numbers on her side? Versus, this is what Mimi keeps saying, who is actually on Cam's side? I don't know. I don't know if Cameron clearly has anyone on his side. Like, for an example, Cameron thinks that Jared is one of his biggest allies, and Jared is not even his ally. Jared is like, he's very expendable and disposable to Jared. Like, if he's here, he's here. If he's not here, he's not here. I am just keeping him close, you know, in case he benefits me. But we know that Jared is not working with. We know that Jared is not really working with Cameron, so that's the whole thing. You don't know what Reilly's gonna do. You don't know what Jag is gonna do. You don't know what Blue is gonna do. There are three people, and you don't know what Matt is gonna do. You probably know what Matt's gonna do a little bit more than the others because you know that Matt goes as Reilly goes. Matt's gonna do whatever Reilly does. But the other two, the other three, you know, like, they don't know. They're wild cards. So you kind of cut off. I can't even call Reilly the head of the snake, but I would say that Reilly is the second right after Jag. Jag is the most dangerous on that side. If I were them, I don't know. Like, if I had a chance to take a shot at Jag next week, I would be putting Jag on that block. I'm not gonna lie. I would put Jag and Hissam and Heisem next to each other on the block, to be honest, if I had a chance. Well, actually, I wouldn't do it through the front door. That's I might put Jag and Blue on the block with the option of the back door. Take Blue off the block if there was a veto one. So like if nobody won the veto, I would send Jag out the door, and if somebody won the veto and took one of them off the block, I would send home. I would put on Heisem and send him home. By the way, y'all, Matt is getting his teeth into this game. I feel like at the beginning, I feel like early this week and late last week, Matt was not really in the game at all. He was just kind of he was out of it because he was out of his element because of what he was saying about people not including him in the conversations, because you do have to make an effort for Matt to be seen in a way and heard. But it seems like this week everybody has been doing a better job of that, which I'm happy about that. That's a good thing. That's a nice thing. He thinks Corey, and that's the funny thing. I don't know about Red. I think Red is one of his numbers, but Jared and Corey are not. Like Corey's on the fence, Jared's on the fence. Red might be the one guy that is like solidly him. But it's weird. Like Red has been laying low lately. Like I have not been hearing too much. I have really not been hearing too much about Red or seeing too much of Red. And even when I do see Red, it doesn't seem like he's talking tons of game. I don't know if it's just because that's what they're showing us, or if it's because he's just like, I don't know, he feels safe where he's at, but this has not been Red heavy, factually. Matt is quick. I don't think so. Like, I really think that Matt is tied to whatever Reilly's doing. Now, if Reilly goes home this week, then I think Matt will do whatever is best for Matt. But I think if there was a situation that was good for Reilly's game and bad for Matt's game, and Reilly came up to him and was like, I need you to do this, this, and this, and looked him deep in the eyes, I don't think he would be like, yeah, yeah, whatever, and then do whatever he wants. I just don't see that. I think Matt is really, really into her. I was just watching a video of them on Twitter having this minute-long hug where they just stood there and they were just quiet and hugging each other. And I was like, all right, I see what's going on here. That I can say, like, I think Matt is a floater to an extent, but I think as long as Reilly's in the house, he's going to do whatever is in Reilly's best interest. Now, if we were later in the game and like he was on the line and it was him or her, yes, I think that Matt would do whatever is best for him. But like at an early stage right now, he was already showing that he's willing to go against Heisem, even though Heisem was like, if you do this, Matt, you're going to be the target. He went right to tell her. Right after telling Heisem, I will never tell her, nothing leaves this room. He went and he told her, and he told Sari, he told Jared, he told everybody. So to put Blue, Jag, and Backdoor Heisem, he said his plan is to ride the middle. I think he thinks that's what he's doing, but I don't think any of them think he's in the middle. I think that the Cerise side clearly knows that Matt is not with them, and he kind of goes where the wind blows. Now, the people that I think that they don't know about really are Mimi and America. They are playing that middle very, very well. Mimi and America are playing the middle very well because they have not pledged an allegiance to anybody. Now, playing a floater game gets tricky after a while, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible to get by playing kind of a floater game. If you think about Turner from last season, yes, he was in a bunch of different alliances, but he was kind of a floater for a while, and then he kind of latched onto the right alliances at the right time, and it took him to final three, and gave him a chance to make final two. So it's not impossible to win that kind of game, but I think in recent years, at least since the time I started watching Big Brother, the people who have won have typically been a part of large early alliances that protected them up to a point, and then their main small alliance kind of took them the rest of the way. Yeah, he definitely floated into the final three. Okay, who is this? Mama Fee and Mama Fee probably feels good not to be on the block right now after spending the first week on the block. She's like, okay, now I have my teeth in this game. You know, being on the block on the first week that you get there, I'm sure is very stressful because you go through all this stuff to get there, multiple applications, interviews, all that stuff, and then especially for, like, she's a super fan. So especially something like that, and your dream potentially could get taken away just like that, you know. So it depends. Yeah, that's it depends on that too. It definitely depends on that too. You can be a floater, but it comes to a certain point. This is the part that makes it hard to be a floater. You can be a floater and you can win, but once they get rid of the big main targets that everyone's trying to get rid of, now the next thing they're saying is like, okay, I'm not strongly tied to America, so she's next. Like, I don't hate her, I don't love her. She's just not really tied to me like that, so she's out of here. But then America wins a competition, suddenly she has everybody coming into her HOH room and being like, you know what, America? I want to make a final four with you. I want to make a final two with you. I want to make a final three with you. And next thing you know, a new group could form, and it could be a surprise group that takes people out, and the house doesn't know. That's the thing about season 25 so far. Everybody knows everything. It's like the other side, the bye-bye bitches, the whatever. Like, everybody has declared what teams they're on. So nothing is a secret here. Everybody knows the playbook, everyone knows everything. So that's why I say being somebody like Matt, or being somebody like America, being someone like Mimi, even being someone like Corey, to an extent, even being someone like Jared, because while they kind of know who Jared likes, they also don't strongly know which side he's on. The only people who really know which side, um, to, Corey's not on. I mean, Jared's not on the side. Jared is just wherever his mom is. That's his side. That's how they both are, and nobody knows that except for Izzy. And Izzy doesn't even quite know that like that. She knows that like 80%, but she doesn't know the 20% of Sari being like, if you are do something that puts you on the outs with the rest of the house, I'm very willing to let that happen. She doesn't know that. I mean, I know she's no dummy, and I know she knows that she's not a priority for Sari over Jared, and for Jared over Sari. But I don't think she knows that Sari is like, let's just wait until she makes a mistake. As long as we're not the ones who who put that out there. Uh, if Brit Fleet, I know, right? Imagine if she had won. Imagine if she had won at that point. Man, you throwing a win. I think she came in second in one of those later competitions too. Like you throwing a win, an HOH win, because honestly, that's what saved Taylor. Taylor got an HOH, her HOH win at a very opportune time, which kept her in the game. Like an HOH win late in the game, which if she hadn't gotten, she might not have been able to depend on Monty or Turner or even Brittany, who we saw turned on her in favor of Alyssa to keep her in the game. Thanks to Jared and Corey. She floated the. Are you talking? Who are you talking about? Alyssa? Brittany? Brittany did pretty good, I thought. I thought Brittany did fairly good. I know Alyssa didn't do anything. And I think America is trying. I was getting Alyssa vibes from America, but then I started to listen to her talk in these conversations, and I'm like, nah, I don't know how she is in competition, but in terms of how she strategizes about the game, she actually does have a strategy. Her strategy is fly on the wall and downplay my threat level. But when you actually hear her talk game, you're like, she's actually quite smart. And I'm not even saying I don't think she's smart in general. When I say smart, I'm talking about game IQ. Because, like, a Heisem, for example, I think is really, really, really smart. Obviously, his profession requires that. And just listen to the man talk. He has a high, like, book IQ, but he has, like, a mid level, to borrow a millennial term, his game IQ is mid because I feel like you need a combination of being like smart, and you need a combination of being game smart, and you need to have a good EQ, like a good ability to read the room. Like if I was in that house, I know that I would not be the smartest person in the house. I wouldn't be the dumbest person in the house either, but I wouldn't be the smartest person in the house for sure. Um, I would be the person who reads people at a high level, and I would probably find the smarter people, excuse me, and kind of engage in friendships with them or like game alliances with them. I would look for the people who were stronger in my weaker areas and kind of partner with them. And then I would find the person who's really good with memory, and I would study with them to make sure that I have the best chance that I can with these memory competitions. Because the physical competitions, I'd be A1 at those. That's my thing. The mental competitions where I have to memorize things, especially the ones where it's like, what happened on what day? Shoot, man. Get me a study buddy. That's what I did in college. This one semester in college, I was in I did business in school. I got my degree in business administration, and I remember like there was this girl that used to get the top grades in the class, and one day I was like, "Hey, have you studied for such and such test?" She was like, "No, but I'm gonna go to the library at 6 o'clock, study for a couple of hours." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was thinking of going to the library too. What are they cooking or what is smoking in there?" I'll just assume that's steam from a pot because Cameron's standing there. Anyways, yeah, onto my random story. So I went to the library. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be going to the library too. Maybe I'll go at that time and we can study together. She's gonna tell me, yeah, so you can take your note, bring your notes to the table, and I'll bring my notes, and then we'll compare. And I'm like, oh shoot, she's not just gonna give me her notes. So, but what ended up happening, to make a long story short, was that that requirement that she had, that I had to actually bring something to the table, made me have take notes because I used to depend on my memory for everything. So I started taking notes. I would bring them to her. She would make me give her the reference and the page number and everything. So my GPA that semester that we were studying together was like a 3.84 or something like that. And the GPA that I had the semester prior to that was like a 3.02, which is decent, but yeah, getting yourself the right study buddy can mean everything. Taylor on HOH and POV. Yeah, that's like what Miss Nappy Kid was saying. Like if you win, even if you're not part of the a main alliance, or if you're not the top of whatever alliances that you're in, the top priority, you could win at an opportune time, and it just throws in a curveball because then they have to change all their plans. It's like, oh, well, everybody but Mimi can win because my goal is to put up Mimi and whoever. And then all of a sudden, like Mimi wins the HOH, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, now Mimi's the one deciding whether I stay or go. Oh, looks like maybe there's an outdoor thing because Blue is back in the bikini. I'm curious as to what Blue is saying to America and Jag. Give me a minute. Okay, so essentially, oh, Jared just walked into the room. It looks like they're dispersing and not continuing that conversation. Oh no, Jared's leaving the room. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to catch a little bit of this. Okay, so America came to report to Jag and Blue about Reilly, saying to, I think, Mama Felicia and Izzy, like, y'all have the most power on this side, so I'm trying to, convince y'all to keep me or whatever. And basically, Jag and Blue are like, yo, Reilly needs to stop talking so much. And Reilly needs to just, when she's campaigning, she needs to just stick to her own selling points instead of bringing other people's names into it. I think Jag especially is frustrated because Jag is spending all this time kind of coaching Reilly and being like, it's still possible to save you. Just stop talking so much and stop telling so much about everything. Um, Reilly is I give her the credit for trying to campaign to keep herself in the game, but she's overdoing it. I totally agree with Jag that she's overdoing it. Hold on, America just left, so I'm trying to see what Jag is saying. I gotta mute it real quick. Okay, it looks like they're both in the bathroom, but it looks like they're not continuing the conversation. But yeah, it seems like they are upset. It seems like they are upset and they think that Reilly is running her mouth. America is dangerous, Tammy. This is what I have been noticing. America is very dangerous because she's not really a part of their side and she's not really a part of the other side. She just strategically is giving information to either side as it benefits her to cause contention amongst the groups. Makes sense. Makes sense for her position because she's at the top of nobody's alliance. So she's probably going to relay this conversation she just had with the two of them, I assume, to Mimi whenever they reconvene. And she's going to ride the fence. She's going to ride the fence. Now they switched to Corey and Bowie. Why do I keep forgetting her name? Corey and Bowie. Yeah, Blue was mad. They were both mad, but Blue was really mad. So she was like, why does she keep throwing people's names in it? And why does she keep doing all this talking? Like, and even Jag was like, she needs to just stop talking. I'm sure they're going to have a conversation with her about that and be like, you need to stop giving out all this information to these people because it's not doing anything to help you and it's not doing anything to help us. Well, all right. I am getting ready to go. Oh, I want to hear this conversation that Jared's having with Jag real quick. Let's see if I can catch anything before I go. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to go because, I have been on here and I haven't been able to listen to the conversation. Thanks, YouTube, for that. But there's nothing YouTube can block me for because they can't hear or see any of the live feed footage. I'm out and I am going to probably be back tonight after the episode. The episode, as far as I remember, is 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's 5:30 right now about. We'll talk then. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content.
So you literally were one of my very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? But I like this Canadian.
Well,
I like this one.
Well,